Good evening, and welcome to Armageddon Live, Series 2, Episode 39, Structure of Daniel 8 through 12, Part 11, on this 9th of June, 2020. I'm your host, Daniel Decrypted. Actually, I guess that title is a little misleading, because I don't know if I'm really going to get much about Daniel 8 through 12 done, but anyway. I just wanted to do something today. I mean, it's been such a long time since I did anything. Anyway, so let me get out of the way and we'll try and find something to do. So last time we did something, we looked at this. Yeah, so we looked at Revelation 12 through 13, creation. Right, this was this lovely structure here. So it gives 777 as a symbol of the Sabbath, and 666 is the, I guess you'd say, the anti-Sabbath. So actually Daniel has a few of these in other places. So let's take this down and let's go back a little ways. And we're going to look at Daniel 10 and Revelation 1. Alright, so here we go. Daniel 10 says, "In those days I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks." 777. "I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all, till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled." Daniel 10, 2 and 3. And Revelation 1:10 says, "I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day." I believe we've already looked at this in a sense. Let's go and get that other thing that we did. You'll recall that at one point we did the structure of... where is it? Oh, yes, right here. Structure of the New Testament. Oh, where's the rest of my... Well, anyway. Here was the partial structure of that. So we had the 4 Gospels, the 4 creatures, Acts of the Spirit, Holy Spirit, otherwise known as Acts of the Apostles, the 7 Spirits of God, and then we had the epistles of Paul to the 7 churches, we had the 7 churches in Asia, and then we had this, Christ our High Priest, Hebrews 3 and 4, Christ our High Priest, Revelation 1, 9 through 16. That's what we just looked at, right? Revelation 1:10. Well, let's go back. So yes, we had this. "For he spake in a certain place of the 7th day on this wise, and God did rest the 7th day from all his works." Hebrews 4:4. "There remaineth therefore a rest, sabbatismo." That is a Sabbath, what is it? Anyway, Sabbath rest to the people of God. Hebrews 4:9. So this Hebrews is clearly talking about Sabbath. And then we go, "I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day." Revelation 1:10. But we read Matthew 12:8 says, "For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day." So Jesus says he's Lord of the Sabbath day. So we get this repetition of the idea of the Sabbath. But that's what we get here, once again, what we were just looking at. Right? 3 weeks. Right? Week literally means 7. So when they say 3 weeks, what we're getting is 3 sevens, or 777. So this is, based on our, let's see, do I have that down here too? Based on this structure, right, we get that 777 is a symbol of the Sabbath. So when you interpret this properly, 3 weeks, or literally 3 sevens, 777. So Daniel saw Jesus, right? Because that's what this man in linen is that we see in Daniel 10. And we know that because of this comparison. Oh, that's not the comparison we want. This comparison here. A certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. And in Revelation we have girt about the paps with a golden girdle, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like in color to polished brass, and his feet like unto fine brass. And the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude, and his voice as the sound of many waters, right? Babel, brooks babble. And that, of course, comes from Babel, confusion, or many different voices all speaking at the same time. So these are clearly talking about the same being. And we know Revelation is definitely Jesus, so that makes Daniel's Jesus also. So from what we've just seen, in Revelation, John sees Jesus on the Sabbath. But Daniel also sees Jesus on the Sabbath also, from this hidden symbolic 3 sevens, right? So that's a little thing. Of course, there's another parallel too, which I keep on flipping over, and that's the parallel between Daniel and John. Daniel is called, "For thou art greatly beloved." Daniel 9:23. "O Daniel, a man greatly beloved." Daniel 10:11. "O man greatly beloved." Daniel 10:19. And this parallels John, who's called one of his disciples whom Jesus loved. John 13:23. The disciple whom he loved. John 19:26. The other disciple whom Jesus loved. John 22. That disciple whom Jesus loved. John 21:7. The disciple whom Jesus loved. John 21:20. So we have all these parallels between Daniel 10 and Revelation 1. Yeah, so we can, I believe that's everything in there. Yeah, that's everything in there. So anyway, that's where the Sabbath appears. Of course, it appears somewhere else too. And I should probably save that for tomorrow, and we'll look at that. And I'll have to change the title of this tomorrow for sure. But there you see that the Sabbath occurs in Daniel 10, as well, of course, in Revelation 1. And we saw that 666 is a counterfeit Sabbath from this structure. So anyway, that's a start on an introduction to the Sabbath. I mean, I'm working on something else right now that brings out the Sabbath once again in Daniel. In Daniel 2, Daniel 3. Daniel 3 and Daniel 9. But it's going to take a little while. I have to slowly go through things. But the Sabbath, when you start looking for it, you start to see it all over the place, but it's because most people don't understand the symbols, and that's why they can't see it there. So anyway, that's all for tonight. I mean, I could go and do other stuff, but I think it's better that I do this and then get around to doing, leave some other stuff for tomorrow for sure. So, yes, that's all for tonight. I hope this was a blessing to you. I hope it piqued your interest. And once again, well, not once again. This is a mess right now. I'm trying to get stuff out, but eventually this will all be redone again in probably an order that makes a little more sense. But it's just to try and do something all the time and push myself. I mean, that's the problem, or that's what I'm trying to do, is continue to push myself so that there's always something being done every day. Obviously it didn't work because it's been 2 or 3 days since I've done something. Anyway, I hope this was a blessing to you. I hope it was an eye-opener about the Sabbath, 777. Now you're starting to see that it's actually in prophecy in Daniel 10, Revelation 1, and you're gonna, as I said, you're going to start to see it in other places too. So for now, I would say adieu and good night, and I hope to see you tomorrow. God bless.